brokered ceasefire talks continue in Doha. You're listening to ABC News.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan wrapping up his 3-day China trip with a meeting with President Xi.
Sullivan characterized the meetings over the past few days as candid and substantive, stressing that the trip was part of ongoing efforts to responsibly manage the relationship between the two countries so competition doesn't veer into conflict.
President Biden has been clear that he is committed to managing this important relationship responsibly.
Carson Yu, ABC News, Hong Kong.
The listeria outbreak linked to sliced deli meats is growing.
The CDC now says more than 50 cases of listeria have been reported in 18 states, leading to 57 hospitalizations and now 9 deaths. Listeria is a particularly nasty germ that can remain on surfaces like meat slicers and in food, even at refrigerated temperatures. It's also pretty sneaky. Some people don't get symptoms for up to 10 weeks after they've been contaminated. This outbreak is linked to certain now recalled Boar's Head and Old Country brand sliced deli meats with sell-by dates of October of this year. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Reports indicate that a Boar's Head deli meat plant in Virginia is tied to the outbreak and broke food safety rules dozens of times. Relentless rain and strong winds lashing Japan's southernmost island after a powerful typhoon made landfall, causing at least 3 deaths. That system has been downgraded but still posing a risk for flooding and landslides. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Looking for affordable home ownership on the peninsula? Mountain View Homes has you covered. Enjoy high-quality craftsmanship at 40% less than traditional homes. You heard me, 40% less. We offer full-service land packages from dirt to turnkey, delivering beautiful, efficient manufactured homes on your chosen site. With 3 convenient locations, including Carlsberg, we're here to serve you. Visit mtviewhomes.com today to learn more. Mountain View Homes, where affordability meets quality.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results, 457-6600. Port of Port Angeles has just become one of only a few ports in Washington state to be awarded a grant to help electrify its operations as part of Washington's Climate Commitment Act. Port getting a little over $525,000 through the State Department of Transportation. They'll use the money mostly to leverage against perhaps an even larger grant from the Environmental Protection Agency. A $10 million grant from the EPA has been applied, but to show that, the port has to come up with a 10% match. And this grant from the state will be used to cover half of that match.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. 68 this afternoon, under sunny skies, east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, lows around 57. Clear skies tomorrow, 71. Temperatures above average Saturday and Sunday, with highs from the low 70s to the mid 70s. Take a look at the extended forecast: 69 Monday, 66 Tuesday, and 69 on Wednesday. Another look at the short range: a high of 68 today. We should dip down to around 57 tonight, a high of 71 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 68 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Welcome once again to the program. Going to spend today talking about, music, actually, quite a bit. In the first half of the show, we've got a couple of the new artists coming for the new artistic season that starts up this month at Field Arts and Events Hall. And the first one we're going to talk with is someone many of you are familiar with. In fact, a return engagement from Frankie Moreno. And Frankie and I had a chance to talk. It's hard to believe it's been so long. But Frankie, it's great to have you back. And it's going to be even better to have you back in town again next week, in fact.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on here. Great to talk to you again.
Okay, so
we're excited.
Yeah, I bet you are. You had a great show. I mean, you had a great show. People were just, in fact, I think the folks at Field Hall said you were the most asked for returning artist out of everything they had last year. So that says something.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
That's awesome. But that's because you got a lot of street cred. As we talked last time, you're Las Vegas's headliner of the year for 5 times. You've got an Emmy nomination. You've got 17 top 10 albums. You have 118 top 10 singles as well. But the best part about Frankie Moreno is that you just do a terrific show. People just love to watch you entertain them. How did you get started doing this thing?
I mean, I just kind of always been around music. Like my dad dabbled in the guitar a little bit, my uncle on a saxophone. Like it's always been kind of around, but it was like a fun thing, like for my family to do. It was like a little game they all played. But for me, I showed interest very young, and I'm thankful because what my parents kind of did was they the musical instruments in the house, the drums, the bass, the guitars, the piano, were kind of like toys. So if I ate all my Brussels sprouts, I could touch the piano. It was never like, you better practice that thing. So it created this magical thing for me that I always wanted to just do it. And so, as I got older, it was like, I could play with these toys whenever I want. And I just fell in love with it. I mean, I started young and just built it into a thing, luckily.
Yeah, a little more than a thing for you, but that's okay. You obviously ate a lot of Brussels sprouts because you play pretty well. You got a chance to play those toys a lot.
I still eat them all the time.
Now, Frank, you're a younger guy. You play a lot of older style things. Last time we had you on, we got into this. I want to talk again a bit about kind of how you gravitate to that, that old feel good rock and roll stuff that is so much part of your show, and actually is a big part of what you're bringing up to Port Angeles here on the 5th.
Right. I think what spawned that whole thing was, what my dad was really into was like the music. Growing up, he was playing me all these records of the 50s and the 60s. Everything from Elvis to Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, all that just super amazing stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And at the same time I'm growing up, out are coming bands like Green Day and Nirvana, and so I got into everything, but looking at it all, like watching videos of all these entertainers, man, the stuff from the 50s, those guys were just so fun to watch to me. You know what I mean? Like, as the time went by, it became kind of not cool to be show busy. Mm-hmm. It kind of turned into a thing where you just stand there and play the guitar and sing the song. But like, God, I love watching Jerry Lee Lewis throw his leg up on the piano or just Elvis just like moving across the stage. I just loved that. It kind of was my favorite thing to watch, and I just gravitated towards all that. So I love all music, but that rock and roll sound really allows for being playful on stage, I suppose, is what you would say.
And you certainly do that.
Fun.
you do quite a workout. I mean, your show is a piece of theater. It really is. I mean, it's more than just the music. You're doing a show. Tell us a bit about. Are you going to be bringing up similar band as last time? Those who saw you last time, those who didn't. Yeah.
Same configuration. We're going to play, kind of a little bit even my own music, mostly what we play in general is original music, stuff I write, but it all sounds, it's all got that rock and roll vintage feel. So we're going to be playing some of that as well as we were thinking, like, let's just do something, let people call out in the crowd whatever they want to hear, and I'll play it. And I mean, I know all that stuff. I know all of it. So like, I just love it. So I'm open for anything. Let's read the crowd and kind of just roll with the moment. And yeah, we kind of work off of instinct, honestly. Like we don't really go in there with I never really approach a show anyway, no matter where we're playing, whether it's, Hollywood Bowl or Carnegie Hall or, somebody's backyard barbecue. I never go in with like, this is what's going to happen tonight, because you got to feel the energy of the room and kind of, we just work off of instincts. The band's really good because they just kind of let me drive and trust where I'm going, and they follow me amazingly, and it's just a fun time. Like, we try to make each time where I don't ever want someone to walk away and say like, oh yeah, I've seen him before and it was great, we don't need to see it again. I want it to be like, what's he going to do this time? I like that.
Tell us a bit about surviving in Vegas too. That's a tough thing to do. You've done very well in there. To get 5 times headliner of the year in your career there is phenomenal to see. And then the follow-up to that is, how different is it when you kind of do a residency, when you're kind of in a place for a while, compared to when you're out on the road, like coming up to a place in Port Angeles?
Well, it's all got its pros and cons. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, I did when I first started doing Vegas, I kind of worked my way up to becoming like a headliner out there. It took some time to let people know who I was and all that stuff. I had moved out there and, just to a new city and had to be heard. And we did our first big residency. We did 4 years at the Stratosphere. Yeah. And that was amazing, but also difficult because you can't really, the sound system's exactly the same. The piano's in the same spot. So there's the comfort of knowing exactly everything is going to be exactly the way you want it. I walk on stage, I know exactly where my towels are going to be, where my waters are, and there's a real nice comfort in that. But, as years start going by, it also starts getting monotonous where you start going on autopilot a little bit. So we started touring. I left that, and we started touring, and that was super fun because you never know what to expect. Someone forgot to do this, or this doesn't work, and I feed off of that. That's what makes my show, is when something goes wrong, And when something's unexpected, I guess what I'm really good at is rolling with that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Rather than just going in there and this is what I do. But then you got the problem of you're on the road, you're in hotel rooms all the time. I mean, that gets monotonous too. So it's nice to have a good balance, honestly. Yeah. So now we'll do like a 6-month run at a casino now. We'll do like a residency for like 6 months and then go on tour. But what I like to do is kind of do a couple shows in Vegas a month. Do a residency for the year, but only, only on the weekends or something like that, and then go out and tour. That seems to do well just for having, business and a life,
I can get that, right. All right. Do you have a favorite old-time artist? I mean, you mentioned Jerry Lee Lewis and some of those, but is there one that just absolutely, that's your guy?
It changes all the time. I mean, I would just immediately go to Elvis, because Elvis, it, to me, kind of embodies all of it. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I'm a musician and I'm classically trained, and so Elvis in that sense is not the guy I would go to. I would go to like a Ray Charles or a Stevie Wonder, right? But just sheer, if you want to talk rock and roll, just man, just the clothing, the attitude, the vibe, the cars. I'd have to probably go immediately to Elvis.
That's the same. I'd say that. Yeah, he's the show guy.
Yeah,
he's doing what you did. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, like I'm a songwriter, so in that regard, I got to give that to the Beatles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like I have different things. I like the songwriting of the Beatles. I like how they changed how we write music. I like how Jerry Lee Lewis took an instrument and turned it into like a dance partner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the piano becomes his dance partner. It's not just a guy sitting at a piece of furniture. I love that. I love how Elvis kind of just goofed around when he went on a television show on Ed Sullivan, and he kind of, before he sings, he kind of laughs and talks to the girls and stuff like that. I like the playfulness of music. I take the music super seriously. Obviously, I work really hard at it. But like when you're on stage, it's if I'm not having fun, how the heck's the audience going to have fun? You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Like
Right
we
on.
all got to be having fun. No one wants to watch someone do a job. Everyone wants to watch people having fun, and that
Right.
makes them have fun. And me and my band, we love it. And I never really tell the band what we're going to do, so they really kind of walk on stage sometimes not even knowing what we're opening with, and I'll just start playing. And I just love that for the sheer fact of it gives you automatic butterflies. And the butterflies are great. I love being in a room full of butterflies.
Well, you brought a lot of butterflies last time you were up here last year, and you're going to bring them again. I think there are just a few tickets left. Your show certainly has been selling. So I invite folks, if you didn't get a chance to see Frankie Moreno last year when he was up here in Port Angeles, you got to see him September 5th at Field Hall. Get over to Field Hall, their website, get onto the ticket site, pick up some tickets, and grab them if they're still available. And Frankie, I had one more message. Our own Amanda Bacon here said she loves you, and she's going to be in the front row to watch you again.
Well, tell her be ready, just in case we call her up.
You got it. She's listening right now. So, Frankie, it's great to talk to you. Safe travels. We'll see you up here next week, okay?
You too. Thank you for having me, and I sure can't wait to be back out there.
All right. That's Frankie Moreno there, and he's going to be performing here in Port Angeles at Field Hall, and still a few tickets left. However, I right now have 2 tickets to give away. If you would like to go see Frankie play on the 5th next week, you give us a call right now, 360-457-1450, and first call will set you up. And as we wrap things up, we're going to play a little bit of Frankie Moreno here, heading into the break.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
At Coastal Farm and Ranch, Beef Deals are working hard to save you money.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Shop from August 28th through September 3rd and take 15% off Balin stock tanks. The perfect solution for animal troughs, gardening beds, and chick brooders. Work smarter and save bigger with $200 off 27-ton or 37-ton Black Diamond log splitters. Check out our selection of Western boots, insulated work boots, and durable rubber boots. Or choose casual footwear for the family from top brands like Wolverine, Ariat, and Carhartt. Shop these deals and more for Labor Day starting this Wednesday.
Coastal Farm and Ranch, we're just what the country needs.
Make the most of your Labor Day weekend with Coastal.
Tri-State Roofing is celebrating the grand pre-opening in Sequim. Tri-State specializes in more than just roofs, siding, gutters, patio covers, and doors. And the best part is, we got you covered with incredible financing. Project now and pay later, much later. Zero down payment, zero payments, and zero interest for up to 18 months on approved credit. Experience the Tri-State way. We've got you covered 24/7. Online, tristate.pro.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
This message is brought to you by the law firm of McMiniman and McMiniman, Port Angeles and Sequim.
Hi, this is Josh Lay with the Clallam County Sheriff's Office. This holiday weekend, expect more traffic as people head to gatherings, beaches, and parks. Extra law enforcement will be on duty to keep things smooth. Please obey speed limits, buckle up, and eliminate distractions. Never drive after drinking or consuming cannabis products. Let's work together to ensure safe roads for everyone.
The law firm of McMiniman and McMiniman, protecting you and your family since 1985.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We're going to, fast forward one more day next week to September 6th. The next in the season opener, the artistic season at Field Hall, features the Stillhouse Junkies. They're going to be performing September 6th, a charm trio from the hills of Colorado with their hypnotic and high-energy form of roots music, anchored in the free-flowing interplay among the three lifelong musicians. And one of them joins us on the phone. That's Alyssa Wolf. She plays the fiddle with Stillhouse Junkies. And Alyssa, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a bit about Stillhouse Junkies. Describe it from the inside, just exactly what you are going to be bringing up as a show on the 6th.
Yeah, we're a trio based out of Colorado, and we got our start 6 or 7 years ago in the corner of a distillery in Durango, which is where we got our name, Stillhouse Junkies. And we're just an all-original sort of progressive string band. And we've been out to the Northwest a handful of times, and we're really excited to come back.
So for somebody, I was like, say, give us the 30-second elevator speech. If I were to, get into the elevator with you and say, what songs are you going to play? What's it going to sound like?
Well, we're kind of a hodgepodge of different styles. All of us come from different backgrounds. So I would say, we get kind of classified as a bluegrass trio, but truthfully, we're pretty progressive. We do a lot of funky grooves. There's a little bit of blues and Western swing in there as well. And we do like to extend on the Colorado jams a little bit. So we'll, some fun lyrics, and then we'll kind of take you on a journey through some musical journeys.
So maybe you can talk for the other in your group as well. But have you always been kind of a bluegrass musician? I mean, tell us a bit about your background and perhaps maybe the others in the trio.
Yeah, I mean, playing the fiddle, I actually got started in classical music and was brought up, trained in classical, but I always went to a lot of folk and bluegrass festivals growing up, so I was heavily influenced by that genre. And I've studied a little bit of jazz as well. And then my bandmates, they come from backgrounds of jazz as well as, funk and rock. Our guitarist, Fred Kozak, actually got his start on electric guitar and didn't move to acoustic guitar until he was already well aware of the electric guitar world. So yeah, our bass player is fluent in electric bass as well, but for this show he'll be playing stand-up. So yeah, all sorts of influences.
And I've watched some of your video. You have a lot of energy that you put out there. I think people will be pleasantly surprised at the fact that it's quite a show they're going to get.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes us unique, the three of us really, really love what we do. We love playing music, and we love writing original music and sharing our art with people. And I think when we step on stage, it's what you're experiencing, that energy is just us having genuine fun. And we really, really love to give that energy to the audience and feel it back and really have a conversation with the people in the room. So, I would say expect some high energy music and some funny banter as well.
Very good. I got to go back to how you met. All right. How were you all in this distillery at the same time? Give us the whole story.
Yeah, for sure. So Fred Kozak, our guitar and mandolin player, he actually started this band with two other individuals, and they began just by getting a Friday night residency in this local distillery, playing for free, just, free moonshine, I guess you could say with the pay. And those guys played every Friday night. And at the time, I was in another couple bands in town, and I would come by on Fridays and jump in on fiddle for a couple tunes here and there. And I think I showed them how much I loved it, and they eventually just offered me to join the band. So I joined the band as well, and then just kind of through the progression of the band, kind of moving from local to regional to national, we ended up picking up a new bass player, and evolved from a quartet down to a trio, which is our current lineup at the moment. But yeah, we all just met through the local music scene in Durango. It's a small town in Colorado, but we have kind of a bustling music scene. There's a lot of bluegrass jams, and there's a couple festivals around, and we just met through the community.
Well, people are going to be in for a treat if they come up and see Stillhouse Junkies on Friday, September 6th at Field Hall. Still some tickets available. Tell folks to get over now to fieldhallevents.org and get your tickets. You'll hear Alyssa Wolf as well as her other two members of Stillhouse Junkies put on a terrific show. Safe travels on your way up here. Thanks for spending a few minutes with our audience and getting us a little familiar with you.
Absolutely, yeah. Feel free to check us out on social media or our website, and we look forward to meeting everyone up there.
All right, and we will play out with just a little bit of Stillhouse Junkies. And as I mentioned, they'll be at Field Hall on September 6th.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
Clallam County observes International Overdose Awareness Day on August 31st. We hope you participate, as overdose prevention can impact all of us. The Overdose Awareness Day event runs 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., starting with a resource fair at the Port Angeles City Pier, continuing with a rally at the Clallam County Courthouse, and a silent walk to the City Pier for a remembrance ceremony. Join the North Olympic Healthcare Network, Peninsula Behavioral Health, Clallam County Public Health, Clallam Counseling Services, Reflections Counseling Services Group, and the Jamestown Healing Center for Overdose Awareness Day, Saturday, August 31st, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Port Angeles City Pier. The event is free.
Community Corner, presented by First Fed.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Rob Francis. The state will conduct a year-long study on pumped storage hydropower to find optimal locations for the efficient energy storage technology. As the state aims for 100% greenhouse gas-free electricity by 2045, the study will assess potential sites and address tribal concerns. Pumped storage uses excess energy to move water to a high reservoir and generates power when needed. The study, which has identified 391 potential sites, will include public webinars starting September 11th. The final report is due June 30th of 2025. Hospitals in Tri-Cities and Olympia have settled a lawsuit. Trios Health, Lord's Health, and Columbia Capital Medical Center will pay $4.4 million over unpaid meal breaks to employees. Filed in 2019, the suit alleged workers often had to stay on call during breaks, violating state labor laws. It also includes legal fees and costs. The hospitals denied the allegations. And boaters are invited to a virtual engagement workshop. Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, along with the Orca Regulations Communications Advisory Group, will host the workshop to seek input on southern resident killer whales. Starting next year, vessels on Washington waters will have to maintain a safe distance from whales. The population is specially protected under federal law. That workshop will take place the morning of September 12th. For more on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app. You can also visit our website, WashingtonStateNews.net.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I taught for 20 years, until I started forgetting my lectures.
Eventually, he had to quit. Getting his early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard, but it gave us time to take control of the situation, together.
I can't imagine going through this without him.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. 68 this afternoon, under sunny skies, east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, lows around 57. Clear skies tomorrow, 71. Temperatures above average Saturday and Sunday, with highs from the low 70s to the mid 70s. Take a look at the extended forecast: 69 Monday, 66 Tuesday, and 69 on Wednesday. Another look at the short range, a high of 68 today. We should dip down to around 57 tonight, a high of 71 tomorrow. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, it's 68 degrees.
And welcome back to the show. It is Thursday afternoon, and the last segment we dedicate to our business guru, Kevin Holt, and our Business Bits segment. And we're going to be thematic today. Kevin's joining us. We're going to stay with the musician theme, as we had a couple of great interviews with a couple of prominent musicians coming to Field Hall here next week. And we're going to tack on to that a little bit. And I guess I am a musician, so I'm very interested in this personally, but I think people who are not musicians may be able to get something out of this, because this really is just good business sense in so many ways.
In every case, I'll say it later, but resources and opportunities all come from people. The more people you know, the more resources and opportunities you will have.
So, that said, let's talk about musicians and how to make it big.
That's right. Way big. Way big. So we just heard from two musicians who have achieved great success with these essential dimensions. They've mastered their craft, and they're getting gigs. They're coming out here to the beautiful Field Events Hall, which has really turned into a jewel in the crown here in Port Angeles. So people in business other than music have access to many differentiating attributes. They have products, they have service models, they have pricing structures. But people in the music business tell me that success in business boils down to just two things. Number one, showing up. As Katharine Hepburn said when they asked her, how'd you get all those great roles? She goes, well, I auditioned. And the next one, who you know when you get there. And so it sounds to me like musicians need a personal, creative network.
Oh,
Kevin's
wow, we're right back to that
song.
again, the
That's
network.
Right. That's
right.
right. Yeah, networking is essential for success in any effort because, as I said, resources and opportunities come from people. And so the more people you know, the more you get. Networking can help you be the right person in the right place at the right time to catch a fleeting opportunity. And many creative opportunities do start with a gap in an event schedule or an emerging need in a project. In creative endeavors, we call these breaks, as in Todd's big break came when Black Diamond Junction got a chance to fill in for a band that got lost on the way to the Crab Fest.
That didn't happen.
No,
Just letting you know you're using that as
Yes.
an example.
I will use Todd extensively in this conversation.
I know some of them. I'll tell you which
Very
ones are
good.
closer than
Excellent,
not. Yeah.
excellent. So when more people know about you, you'll have opportunities for more work with more industry professionals and more opportunities to promote what it is you do in music. So to help our creative listeners build their brand, oh, there I go again, here are Kevin's 7 steps to creative networking. Now, some of these might sound vaguely familiar, but we've tried to put a musician spin on this. So first of all, as always is the case when you're beginning a networking effort, you've got to have a goal. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Are you looking for other musicians to work with? Are you looking for gigs for your own band? Are you looking for a new rehearsal space? I've heard that's a little tough to tie down.
Yeah.
And are you looking for a band to play songs you've written? Are you looking for an upcoming project for your producing or your engineering skills? All of these are great goals. You probably have your own, but what's important is write it down, put it in front of you, make sure you're focused on what it is you want to accomplish. So then, once you know what you want to accomplish, think about who the right people would be to help you be effective in getting there, and then figure out where those people might be. And in some cases, it might not have anything to do with music. If you're, for example, interested in producing or engineering, you might meet a lot of people at a product show. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. If you are looking for a rehearsal space, you might do something weird for a musician, like go to a Chamber of Commerce or Business Association meeting where people who have offices and office space and industrial properties are probably easier to find. And there will certainly be brokers and people like that in places like that. So a musician might not wake up in the morning and say, gee, I really need to go to the Chamber of Commerce, but you might. And remember, Chambers of Commerce and organizations like that have events. And those events need musicians and technical support and all of these things that people often overlook. So these are the ways you kind of open yourself up. Now, earlier in the interview that just preceded this, Todd asked one of the guests for their elevator speech.
That's right, yeah.
I didn't hear one, so let's help everybody get ready. I call it your networking pitch. That sounds a little bit more musician-centric. It's that 30-second statement that helps you meet people with a consistent message.
Should explain why it's called an elevator speech for folks, right?
Let's do that for fun.
Because people, business folks have
Yes.
said, you get into an elevator with somebody you don't even know. You're going from the first floor to the 10th
That's
floor.
right.
You've got about 30 seconds.
You do.
Tell me what your business is. Because when we get off, I'm either going to finance you or not.
That's right. Now, we don't have any 10-story buildings here.
It's true. That's a problem. But see, you're
yes,
in a big city.
That's right. Now, that is where it originally came from, is people going up into the big skyscraper and, wow, I just met this person. I got 30 seconds to let them know who I am and what I do. I want to describe those in a way that's going to help me be memorable. And I want to encourage the person that I'm speaking with to find out more about me and to stay in touch and maybe become part of my network. People get a little bit mixed up. Sometimes they think they're supposed to get the gig with the elevator speech. No, you're supposed to develop relationships. And then the gig or the opportunity or the singer or the band, that all comes after you've worked your network. So I wrote up a musician's elevator speech.
Let's hear you give it. I
That's
like
right.
this. All right.
So, hi, Todd. My name's Kevin, and I'm an arranger who specializes in country western. I like to work with cover bands to help them develop unique approaches to the classics, to help us both get in front of new audiences. I'm here tonight to connect with some new people and learn more about how we can lift each other up. Here's my business card, so tell me a little bit about what you've been up to lately.
The old trick where get the other guy talking, right? Yeah.
Finishing with a question will pull that person into your networking. It's flattering to be asked. It helps you to be remembered. And what's any of our favorite topics? Well, it's us.
We'd love to talk about
right.
ourselves. Yes.
And you'll pick up very important information in that conversation that can even help you be more memorable. People in business know this well. People in music might not. If you're able to connect other people in the room based on what you've learned while meeting people, you will become legendary. Here's a great example. I'm working at the room as an arranger for country western, and I meet Amanda. Amanda's a vocalist who's looking for bands to perform with. Later, I meet Todd, who just told me his lead singer has moved to Houston with her husband, and he's got a gig coming up. I walk Todd over to Amanda, and I introduce the two. Now I'm seen by at least two people as a very valuable network resource. And so my network begins to grow because people remember me as a helper. Now, you heard me say I gave Todd my business card. When we come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about business cards.
All right. We're talking business tips for musicians, but as you can gather here, plug your business in here as well. It'll still work. Back with more with our business guru, Kevin Holt. And a reminder, you can get all of his tips at kevinyourbusinesscoach.com. Yep. And we'll chat some more about all of this right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg is always adding to the list of things they provide to keep your vehicle looking brand new. The full detail shop is just one more service to check off that list. Not only will your interior and exterior shine, your engine will sparkle too. Red Carpet is also getting some winter upgrades, including new equipment in the manual bay and new vacuums. Call Kyle today and let him get you scheduled for your red carpet treatment Tuesday through Saturday. 360-461-0826.
Did you know that college does not just mean four-year degrees from big universities? Peninsula College offers programs ranging from welding to early childhood education with a focus on getting you into an in-demand job after graduation. Need help funding this next step? Contact United Way of Clallam County's Student Financial Aid Liaison at tinyurl.com/United Way Financial Aid to get help finding funding that's right for you.
Jammin' in the Park is back on the Port Angeles waterfront August 31st. Presented by Nor'Wester Rotary and Koenig Subaru. Come for a fun and free day of live music, food, a kids zone, and other activities too. It happens at Pebble Beach Park in front of Field Hall and Event Center from 11 to 5, Saturday, August 31st.
Jammin' in the Park is made possible in part by Zenovic & Associates, the Port of Port Angeles, Sound Community Bank, Pacific Office Equipment, and State Farm Insurance Steve Methner. Clallam County observes International Overdose Awareness Day this Saturday, August 31st in Port Angeles. North Olympic Health Network and Peninsula Behavioral Health invite you to attend, as overdose prevention can impact all of us. The Overdose Awareness Day event runs Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. with a resource fair at the Port Angeles City Pier. Then join attendees for a march to the courthouse at noon for a rally on the steps until 1 p.m. The remembrance ceremony will be 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. back at City Pier. Local healthcare agencies are hosting a day of events to highlight overdose awareness, including North Olympic Healthcare Network, Peninsula Behavioral Health, Clallam County Public Health, Clallam Counseling Services, Reflections Counseling Services Group, and the Jamestown Healing Center. The event is free and open to the public. Join them and the community for the Overdose Awareness Day beginning at 11 a.m. with a resource fair this Saturday at Port Angeles City Pier. It is our Business Bits segment. We do this Thursday afternoons. That's when Kevin Holt comes in and he talks business with us. And as I always say, whether you own a business or not, I mean, all of these are pretty good pieces of advice, especially if you're thinking about doing anything with yourself. Maybe it's a new hobby.
That's right. Or a side hustle.
A side hustle to start. We're kind of focusing this on musicians because we were all about music in the first segments of my show today. We just talked about the elevator speech and then the networking and how you got us all together.
Right.
And
Be
how
a
you're
connector.
valuable.
Yep.
Now you want to talk about business
That's
cards.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Business cards are a funny thing. They've been around for about 400 years, and they work. And they even work today. And, people have tried over the years digital business cards, USB thumb drive business cards, you name it. but they just don't fit in those little holders we all use very well. So great investment. You can get 50 or 60 for under $20. And my first bit of suggestion is go with the 50 or 60, because after you hand a few out, you're going to go, oh, God, I should have put, or why did I put, or I'd better. So buy a couple of small batches before you go big, even though all the vendors are like, oh, no, you want to get 500. No, you don't. Just grab a quick 50, take that for a spin, learn, evolve. So those of us that have worked for big companies didn't really appreciate the fact that that would all been done before, long before. And then so when we got our business card, it was just pop, here you go. So the other mistake people make with business cards is they spend way too much time designing and all this stuff with logos and messages. And you know what? Name, phone number, email, web presence, get it out the door. And you can evolve it later. But the problem is they get stuck, they don't do it, and then they do go networking without a business card. When you go networking without a business card, you are vapor the minute you walk the room. You're just, as soon as you're gone, you're gone. There's nothing to remember you by. You had nothing to hand out and nothing to collect. And so making that small investment, get the worst business card you can think of. It doesn't matter because it spends most of its time in the dark. But people get them out and they look through them when they're looking for things. And I'm going to put Todd on the spot here and say, when you've been looking through business cards to find someone, did the logo matter much to you?
Not a lot. Not a lot. No. I mean,
or the color, or whether it had rounded corners, or whether it was printed front and back. I don't like things printed on the back because I'm only looking at the front of the business cards. But anyway, keep it quick, keep it simple, get it out the door. That's what matters. And when you exchange those business cards, follow up. Whether you got their business card or you met on social media, a quick hello and a little continuation of your conversation is really going to strengthen the connection. So earlier when I asked Todd during my elevator speech, when I asked him what he'd been up to, I would make a note of that. And then when I go email Todd, I'll tell him how great it was that he told me whatever it was he told me and how I'm looking forward to learning more. Very flattering. People get those and oh, boom, now your email is in their email and you've already built a connection. So you're growing now your entire collection of assets and resources because you're building your collection of people. The next thing I want to warn people about in the music industry or people who want to be in it is to avoid this one really serious risk of the creative mindset. And if it sounds like clickbait, it is, but it's true. So many of the creative purple? Yes,
well,
the creative purple. Yes, the creative people I've worked with will sabotage themselves by placing wholly unnecessary requirements on their efforts. I just talked about wasting a lot of time making the perfect business card when you just need a business card. Creative people will freeze, they'll dither, they'll get cold feet, and they'll count themselves out. They have the irrational fear of not being good enough, and that keeps many creative people out of the game entirely. My antidote is not popular, but it really, really works. Go out and fail. Jump into situations you're not sure are right for you, and give yourself every opportunity to fall flat on your face, because you probably won't. And even if you do, no one's keeping track. There's an old saying in broadcasting, no one's watching, no one's listening, nobody cares. Does that mean you don't have an audience? No. It means nobody's sitting there with a notebook going, oh, Todd said this, Kevin said that, we're going to write that down and think about it for the rest of the day. No. You're there, you're networking. If you flub it this week, you can come back next week and people will be just as willing to talk to you and you'll know more. I mentioned to Todd when we were talking about this, there's a presidential candidate right now who failed miserably in 2020, and they seem to have learned something from it. So they're doing a little better this time, and that's the way we grow and learn. Number 7, and this is a paraphrase from that old movie, Glenn Ross. Don't watch it if you're feeling down.
Yeah, it's not an uplifting movie.
No, but it's got some great scenes, and one of them is when Al Pacino's character is telling the other salespeople how important it is to always be closing a sale. And he says, A, B, C, always be closing. And then he screams it. Well, in this case, it's A, B, C, always be connecting. Always be connecting. Networking can happen anywhere, anytime. If the music business is all about who you know, then it pays to know as many people as possible. Someone will know someone who could prove to be the very best connection for you. So when you go to shows, do you network with everyone involved? The band, the volunteers, the sound guy, the audience, the guy at the door, the girl behind the bar? Do you talk to everybody? One of the best networkers I ever met made a special effort to visit with people in support roles, the people nobody usually networks with. He would give his business card to receptionists, janitors, security guards, landscapers. I kind of scratched my head. And then one night, we were late to an event where the door closed for the show to begin. My associate walked up to the security guard and said, "Hi, I'm Jerry. We met at the Aerofair in Squim. You remember? We were just talking to one of our clients. We got locked out. Could you let us back in?" And he did.
Yep.
Why? Because they knew him.
Yep.
And he, this gentleman had so much success when he talked to receptionists, because then when he wanted to talk to whoever the receptionist was recepting for, he was a familiar person. Right. They had his business, probably the only person that gave him a business card that week.
Yes. You got to know how to work the gatekeeper, right?
Yeah. And so when you can work that gatekeeper, you can get past the gate and you can get to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So here's a few more, just real quick. Take care of your online presence if you have one. If somebody hears about you from somebody else, they'll look for you online. Make sure if you've got a website or social media, it's up to date and it effectively communicates who you are and what you do, and put your elevator speech on there, your network pitch, because it's your brand. Keep it consistent. And then make your contact information easily available. Again, make sure it's online, make sure it's on your business card, make sure that you're easy to find, because again, this is not a real formal business with a lot of structure. So make sure you're just easy to find, because you could be getting a random phone call that you weren't expecting that changes everything. And so make sure it's out there. And then keep that mailing list. People think, oh, that's just for sales or e-commerce or online people or whatever. But having your list of contacts is your bank. It's the currency of your success. And it gives you a place to go when somebody says, "Hey, do you know anybody who..." And then you go to your contacts that you've curated and put a few notes on, and then you can reach out to that person and say, "Hey, I just talked to a guy by the name of Todd Ortloff, and he was looking for somebody to do soundboards, and I just went through my list and I saw you're a soundboard guy. So can I put you two together, or can I get you guys connected?" Then again, you become that connector. So it really brings you to a point of tremendous strength to be able to bring all these matters into your networking experience. It's who you know, so know as many as you people as you can, and you will find networking success as a musician.
Give it one caveat with musicians. Many of them, although you would think of them as being gregarious type folks because of what they do, they are the opposite. Yep. And it's a struggle. I mean, they're the most introverted people I've ever been around are people that I do music with in so many ways. And, you know, then you get kind of this notion, well, he's kind of stuck up. No, he's just really shy.
Super shy.
And so it's really tough to get out of the mold.
That's right.
And so you end up with a bunch of musicians lingering around in a
I've
venue.
seen it.
And, you know, they could all be talking to each other, and they don't because they're scared of the other guy. You know, it's like, well, I don't know. He's kind of shy.
Yeah, you know, he really showed me up at the last Battle of the Bands. And that's good, actually. You guys should be getting to know each other. Well, next week, we heard all about that tricky contract clause Disney tried to use to slither out of a liability lawsuit. And while Disney failed, many other companies are succeeding using dirty little contract tricks to victimize customers. This is especially bad in the world that we live in now, where you get taken to court on what's called a stated contract case, where you fill out something online and it states what your obligations are, and you get a bill and you pay it, and now you've signed up, whether you know it or not. So we're going to look at some of those. We'll look at the worst next time on Business Bits.
So that means we have to read all that stuff?
Well, you know, you have to get somebody to read it because otherwise you're going to find out, like somebody I'm going to talk about next week that bought a car and found out that if they defaulted on the loan, the interest rate went to 42%.
Oh, wow.
That's going to take a while to pay that off.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Kevin, it's always great to have you.
Thank you.
And we'll let folks know. Go to kevinyourbusinesscoach.com.
I'm there.
He posts up notes and all of the stuff from every one of the shows. And
we'll
like
see
this
you next
one.
week. Yeah.
You got it. All right, Kevin, we bring him in on Thursdays. days. That's going to do it for our program. We're going to wrap things up on that and check in with the news coming up next.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.
This message is brought to you by the law firm of McMiniman and McMiniman, Port Angeles and Sequim.
Hi, this is Josh Lay with the Clallam County Sheriff's Office. This holiday weekend, expect more traffic as people head to gatherings, beaches, and parks. Extra law enforcement will be on duty to keep things smooth. Please obey speed limits, buckle up, and eliminate distractions. Never drive after drinking or consuming cannabis products. Let's work together to ensure safe roads for everyone.
The law firm of McMiniman and McMiniman, protecting you and your family since 1985.
Get ready for the Esquimalt Rib Fest in Victoria, BC on September 6th, 7th, and 8th. 3 full days of Rib Fest with our Canadian friends across the water in Victoria. Enjoy award-winning ribs, brews, unique vendors, and live music. Vote on the best ribs from 6 different ribbers. And if you fall into a rib coma, our packages include shuttle deals to and from the ferry with walk-on ferry passes too. Book a Rib Fest package with Blackball Ferry Line, including ribs, shuttle, and ferry from only $69 at cohoferry.com.
Hi, this is Clallam PUD. If you're always on the go, you'll love our Smart Hub mobile app. You can pay your bill, report outages or other problems, and unlock new ways to save energy through monitoring your usage history, all from your phone. It's more than an app. It's a key to saving time and money. Innovation in your pocket, that's power. Download the app from our website at clallampud.net. Clallam PUD, bringing energy to life.
Voted the Peninsula's #1 live band, Classic Hits, Black Diamond Junction. Experience those memorable songs. Easy to dance to and easy on the ears. Black Diamond Junction is back.
Catch BDJ at their free Labor Day concert this Monday at John Wayne's Rustic Waterfront Resort off Squim Bay. The show starts at 1 p.m.
The Peninsula. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, FM 101.7 and 101.3, a Radio Pacific station.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Calling all thrill seekers. The second round of sprint boat racing at the Extreme Sports Park is happening on September 7th and 8th. The Steel American Sprint Boat Races will be heard all across town, and the jaw-dropping explosion of power will have your adrenaline pumping. Watch as these talented drivers and navigators twist and turn their way through the narrow track. The West Coast Surf Riders will be the halftime show attraction. Don't miss the excitement. Get your tickets now at extremesportspark.net.
Harper Ridgeview and Sequim Valley Funeral Chapel offer experience you can lean on and the compassion to ease your loss. Their job is to help families cope with loss of loved ones by removing the stress involved in planning funeral arrangements. All of the staff has a real heart for serving families and their needs in the most difficult of times. They truly realize the importance in what they're doing for the community. Sequim Valley Funeral Chapel and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapel in Port Angeles, the caring support you'll need in your time of loss.
The North Peninsula's news. The North Peninsula's talk. News Radio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, a Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Presidential candidates focusing their message on battleground states. Vice President Kamala Harris and running mate Tim Walz wrapping up a bus tour through Georgia. Harris and Walz also sat for their first joint interview. In excerpts, Harris tells CNN she would appoint a Republican to her cabinet, but doesn't have a specific person in mind. Republican nominee Donald Trump in Michigan blaming the Biden-Harris administration for inflation.
I'm here today with a simple message for the American auto worker and for the American worker. Your long economic nightmare will very soon be over. It's going to be over. Going to turn it around.
The Trump campaign also facing more political fallout from Trump's visit to Arlington National Cemetery Monday after an incident between a campaign aide and a cemetery official.
An Army spokesperson says an employee at Arlington National Cemetery, quote, acted with professionalism as she tried to enforce federal laws and regulations prohibiting political activities on cemetery grounds. That official was, in the words of the statement, abruptly pushed aside by Trump campaign staffers. She has decided not to press charges, and the Army says it considers the matter closed.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. An Inspector General audit of the FBI finding substantial issues how it continues to handle sex abuse allegations in the wake of reforms implemented after failures in the Dr. Larry Nassar case. Here's ABC's Jack Date.
Of the 4,000 cases that they had during a period from October of 2021 through February of 2023, they looked at about 327 cases of that. They found significant problems with 42 of those cases that needed to be immediately addressed. In fact, in one of those cases, a child continued to suffer from child sexual abuse for a period of 15 months.